Welcome all. So, today I'm going to go ahead and teach you about proxies, how they are used to mask your real IP address, and I will show you how you can use a proxy, how you can actually configure your own proxy for others to use, and I will show you what the person controlling the proxy can actually see. So if you have your own proxy, if there are a lot of people, if there are people connecting to it, and believe me, there will be people connecting to it, especially if it's a free version of it. You'll be able to see their traffic in essence, which is kind of hilarious. But a lot of people think just because they're going over a proxy that gives them a good amount of anonymity, but not really. The person controlling the proxy sees a lot of things which you would rather not, which you would rather remain anonymous, that nobody sees it, but they do because they run over their servers, so they have the ability to monitor the servers, and I will show you how this is done. Now, because you need to set up a proxy server, I will do most of these things in the cloud. I deliberately actually opted out not to show you how to do it on your own machine, even though it is very much possible and quite frankly not that difficult. But it's also kind of dangerous because you're opening up your own machine to the external traffic, and for an inexperienced person, that is a very bad idea. Anyway, let's go ahead and see how we can actually connect to a proxy. Let's fire up Firefox. So Firefox, and if I only have one instance of Firefox open because I'm gonna go ahead and configure Firefox to use a proxy. So you can configure it here, but that's a GUI interface for Firefox. Well, I might as well show you. I mean, it's not a big deal. Preferences. If you just go to, where is it? Is it general search, applications, security, advanced networking should be there. Advanced networks. So you can actually configure your connection here. You can use the manual proxy configuration, but I prefer to use the system proxy settings. So when I go ahead and type in proxy chains and tunnel the Firefox through the proxy chains, I'm going to be connected to a proxy over which I will go elsewhere. Another thing that this doesn't really allow you to do is, at least I don't know of a way. There could be. It's very possible that there is a way to create chains of proxies so that you hop from one proxy to another and then bounce back to your destination. So this is not something that I like to use at all. Rather, instead, if you let's just confirm what is my IP. So this is my IP address at the moment. And if I go ahead and type in list of free proxies, I don't know, let's just go ahead and open some of them. You can actually also pay for proxies and they will be very stable and they will work and they'll be very fast, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use the ones that I got. So it says here Sarajevo, Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, so you know where I am. And I'm gonna go ahead and use one of these. Oh, these actually go over the domains. Oh, wow. Let me just use the IP address. It's better that way. Okay, so India. No. You have them set here can list them by the anonymity level. The reason why I said India no, it's because it's way too far and my connection will be kind of slow and the bandwidth in India is not the best. China. I've been in China and it's a great place, but the connection is, it's not slow, but like there are a lot of sites which are actually blocked. But hey, that's why they have VPNs, but then it slows down. Anyway, let me just go ahead and use the, oh, come on, isn't there anything in Europe like, we can forget about it. I'm gonna go ahead and use the US ones. There's a fairly good link in terms of cable between the Europe and the US, so I can use these. Anyway, it says here IP address, port, and protocol. These are all HTTP and HTTPS proxies. I wonder if they have any SOCKS 5 proxies. No, apparently they do not, so I'm not going to go ahead and use these. Generally, you want to SOCKS 5 as they are the best proxies available out there. Okay, so let's have a look at here. SOCKS 5. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use these. SOCKS 4. Oh well. Okay, so now that we have this page opened up, we can go ahead and start installing the tools that we actually need. So we will need to install proxy chains. Just be root. Oh wait, I'm still with my tour thing lectures. Type in DNF search proxy chains, and you will get them here. Then just type in DNF install proxy chains, and you don't need to type in the arch here. Actually, you can just type in proxy chains, and that will be sufficient. -ng. Okay, so it's already installed, so there is literally nothing to do there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and type in vim/etc proxychains.conf. And I'm going to go ahead and expand this console a little bit so I can actually see what is going on. And here you have a good amount of options. So you have the dynamic chain, you have the strict chain, you have round robin chain, random chain, and some other things, but they're really not important that well. This one is here by default, so that's good, but they're really not that important. So what we want is to actually, first of all, use a dynamic chain. What does it mean? Well, if you have a list of proxies through which you wish to go, you can utilize the strict chain, what is set here by default. And a strict chain is generally a good option if you have a list of paid proxies and you know that they will work 100% pretty much. But it's a pretty bad option if you are using free proxies, because they tend to go up and down, and if one of the proxies in the chain is down, your entire chain will be unusable. So the dynamic chain is superior in this regard, because regardless of whether or not all the proxies are functional, the chain will still work in a dynamic fashion. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. I'm going to delete this. Press I for insert mode, and then you'll be able to type things in. And I will comment the strict chain out. I also have the round robin, which is kind of a hybrid thing. Feel free to read through it, but I generally like to use either the random chain or the dynamic chain. So random chain is a fairly good thing, so each connection will be done via random proxy. But again, random and dynamic chains are really good when you have a list of free proxies, and sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down, so it's not a bad idea to actually use them. You can leave everything else as it is. Wow, they've actually increased the configuration file since the last time I've seen it. And now I'm gonna go ahead and type in SOCKS 5 127.0.0.1 950. Okay, just so you know, if you don't type in any of the proxy lists, any proxies like here, like they are typed in this example here, the proxy chains will by default actually use the Tor network in order to anonymize you, which is actually one of the best types of anonymization protocol, one of the best ways of being anonymous on the net. But since we're gonna have a separate lecture for the Tor, we're gonna go ahead and see how this works with the manual list of proxies when you type them in. Okay, so it says here US. Let's go ahead and type it in. So just what type? Dude, are you serious? Are you not listing the type? Here are some free socks proxies that are just checked. Yes, but is it socks 4 or socks 5, genius? Ah, okay, version socks 5. Thank you very much for my stupidity, but oh well. Let's go ahead and begin typing them in as the example above demonstrates. So if you have a paid proxy, you'll just need to probably type in the password, the username and the password. So the username goes here and the password goes here. That's quite literally it. So socks 5. And this is gonna be like, what's the IP address? Oh, let's just copy it. I am not in the mood to type today like a bad. Let's go ahead and take the port as well. And there we go. So let me just go ahead and delete this tabify it, so to say. Okay. I'm one of the people that likes to use tabs a lot, and that's against spaces completely. Don't start an argument in the discussion sections, please. Over tabs and spaces. I don't even know why I mentioned that. Okay, let's list another proxy here, and the port is 10,200. So 10,200. I actually have literally no idea which ones of these will actually work and which ones won't. So I am just, oh wow, this one is in Brazil. Socks 5. And the port is 48,000. You can actually configure your proxy to listen on pretty much any port. That's really not a big deal. Oh my god. But now we're just skip Bolivia and use the United States because the bandwidth is probably going to be really bad. Socks 5. Although, arguably, you would get a better level of anonymity in these countries as opposed to perhaps some of the Western countries due to the regulation which is in place, but the bandwidth is also not the best. Since I'm doing this for the demo purposes, it's really unimportant which proxy set am I using. I just need to show how you can actually use the proxies. So socks 5. And the port is again 10,200. Okay, let's see if these actually work. So let's go ahead and close the browser. Type in as non-root user. So as non-root user, not as root user, not start your browser as root. Proxy chains for Firefox. Hit it. Okay, please tell me that at least one of them will work. Okay, so first one has timed out. This is not going to happen to you with a paid proxy. This is going to work with paid proxies. Okay, so let's just open up the conf file so we can see the addresses as they're being listed. So it's going from 189 to 24. It's skipping down the road because actually some of them are not actually functional, and that's the beauty of a dynamic chain. If this was a strict chain, this would crash. It just wouldn't actually work. So it's picking up the certificate, going to the certificate authority, and it's fetching my default site, and hopping and hopping and hopping. It's still loading. So it is loading the site, just taking a while. Sometimes you'll get luckier, sometimes you won't. Sometimes you'll get some really fast and stable proxies which are free, which is generally awesome, but most of the time free proxies will actually be pretty bad, let me put it like that. Just loading the Fedora site today, my friend. Today. I wish I had more luck doing these tutorials. And let's just go ahead and try to load another one. So what is my IP? Well, this one should be easier to digest. Oh well, now it's just a matter of basically waiting. You can see in the terminal up here what sort of data is being fetched and which proxy in the chain is actually being utilized. So it seems that out of like 5 proxies that I specified here, that only one of them is actually functional, which is nothing strange compared to the which is nothing strange in the free proxy world, really. That's the price you have to pay for it being free. Again, as I stated, if you go to any of the VPN providers out there that also offer proxies or something like that, or offer paid proxies, make sure that they are reputable, that they've been around for a while, and that they have good reviews, and not reviews on their own site, but reviews on other forums. Can see what people are saying about them, and if you use them, you can have proxies there for a fairly cheap amount of money. And this is not going to happen. It's not going to be this slow. So the Fedora project is still loading. I'm going to go ahead and close that. I just wanted to show you that I have actually changed my IP if I can. It should have bought a proxy for this demo to show you how it actually works, but trust me, this is not always the case. You will sometimes get luckier, and sometimes you won't. Just the way the world turns. No, my good man, not start Fedora project. I don't care. I really don't care. Again, don't go to the homepage, or you're loading something. Anyway, I'm running a little bit short on time. I'm gonna come back in the follow-up tutorial where I'm gonna revise the proxy list, and then I'll restart Firefox, and then the loading time should actually be better. So, bid you farewell, and hope to see you in the follow-up tutorials where I'll just do a demo of this, and then I'll show you how to set it up and how to monitor, how to set up a free proxy and how to monitor it, and I'll show you what sort of traffic can you actually see. Okay, so welcome back. Let's go ahead and continue. Whoops. That was stupid. So, vim/etc. Let's go ahead and edit the file which we've just copied. So, server.conf. There are a few things which we need to change in here. So the first one is DH10, I think, was it? Yep. So the Diffie-Hellman parameters. Never could pronounce this right. I'm butchering the name. I know, I understand, but yeah, what can I really do about it? So let's go ahead and change this to 2048. 2048-bit keys. I'm looking for 4 and 8, if you're wondering what I'm doing with my keyboard at the moment. Okay, so that's done. 2048. Next up, we need to uncomment a line which says push space redirect. So push redirect gateway def1 bypass DHCP. Yep, that's what we need. So insert. Let's just go ahead and uncomment this. This is so that the VPN server can pass on the client's web traffic to its destination. Otherwise, basically, the client's traffic will die at the server. It won't leave it. So next up, it's push space DHCP dash option, I think. Yep, there we go. So we have the 2 DNS servers, which we will be utilizing. Okay, so I refer to the public provided by OpenDNS. Yes, these are the OpenDNS servers, which are very secure and very good, I must say. They have fantastic filters, and companies do tend to use them a lot. Privacy and anonymity, I can't really make a comment on that as I really don't know, but I did tell you before when I told you how to swap the DNS servers, how to use the static DNS servers for yourselves, how you should, a method, a general way in which you should choose a DNS server. Anyway, now that we have uncommented these two great lines, let's go ahead, right quit, exit, and we shall echo 1 to the beautiful proc. I wish they had something like proc on Windows sometimes. IPv4, IP underline forward. And let's go ahead and type in VIM. I mean, you don't need to do these repetitive tasks if you have followed the previous tutorials for echoing these things into IP. So we're setting the system to forward, to be capable of forwarding network traffic. But it does no harm really to echo 1 twice into this. I mean, you're just substituting the value. If you have 1 there already, 1 will get substituted with 1, so no big deal. Let's see, sysctl.conf, and we are looking for our line net.ipv4.ip underline forward. Okay, so let's go ahead and leave this there. So just uncomment it. That's all you really needed to do there. Nothing more. The firewall is configured. This is done. The proxy is installed. And let me just go ahead and check one more thing. I'm not sure if I actually done this in the previous tutorial, now that I come to think of it. Forward policy accept. So make sure the default forward policy is set to accept. I forgot this from the previous tutorial and I wasn't sure. Anyway, let's go ahead and deal with the certificates. So we will need to do this. So let's go ahead and copy over the EasyArsa generation scripts. They are on our system. QSR share EasyArsa keys. Yes. No. Just EasyArsa and then etc open VPN. That should do it. The sound that you just heard was not a confirmation that something was copied. The sound that you just heard was the system telling me, Ermin, my dear Ermin, you have a billion updates waiting for you. Why, oh why, can you not just update me? Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. So, we need to create a directory to house the key in essence. So mkdir etc open VPN EasyArsa keys. So this is the creation of the directory. And now we need to type in vim etc open VPN EasyArsa vars. That was nice. Okay, so let's go down. There are some things which you can change here. Just gonna change one really, but you can change a ton load of parameters. Here, let me show you some of the obvious ones which are subject to change. Okay, so export EasyArsa. Okay, PWD, that's fine. Then SSL, that's all great, fine and dandy. Key config, that's great. Key dir. Yep, as you can see, export keydir is actually EasyArsa/keys, but EasyArsa is a variable here in this case. So let's go down, export key size, that's fine, 2048. And here we go. So these are some of the obvious things that you can change for your certificate. You can set the country, the province, city, or some organization, mail. And I have no idea what this is, like my organizational unit. So you can, these are arbitrary, so you can set these pretty much to whatever you like, technically speaking. This is what I would like to change here. The key name is also arbitrary. Let's name it server. Very innovative. If you put it to something other than server, as it is arbitrary and you are entitled to it, make sure that your changes here reflect the changes throughout the tutorials, because I don't know how many changes I will make in advance. So just remember the name. That's all fine and dandy. Let me just go ahead and write and quit. Next up, we will need to actually go ahead and generate the certificate, and this might take a while. So let me just show you something. app-get install htop. And htop, this is like one CPU core, and take a look at the amount of RAM that's available. Now, let me just go ahead and do something else. Okay, this is the previous IP address. I don't really have this one. This is probably not terribly important what I am doing right now, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. I don't know, I guess some sentimental reasons. Okay, there we go. So I'm connected again to the same server, just via a different terminal. You can have multiple SSH connections coming in from the same place, so that's fine. The CPU usage basically is practically idle at the moment, and memory, it's like 52 megabytes out of 400 out of the entire 494. But now I need to generate the certificate. So if I type in open, of course, this part here, this is not something that you need to do. This is just something that I'm doing as a demo. Open SSL, it has nothing to do with OpenVPN. So this part does, though. We need to generate the certificate. DH param-out /etc open VPN DH 2048 dot pem and 2048. Whew. Okay, so it's working. And okay, there we go. There we go. So the CPU core is basically maxed out. The CPU core is, I believe, 1.8 gigahertz. It's Intel Xeon. It's not going to take like forever, but it certainly will take a good amount of time. Maybe a couple of minutes, and that's it. So when it's done, I'll come back in the follow-up tutorial. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue now that this is done. So let's go over to let's see, open. Let me just see what else begins with open. I'm guessing OpenSSH. Yep. No, OpenNSC. OpenVPN. Easy ARSA. And then we're gonna do, I'm just gonna do ls. Okay. So dot space dot slash vars. Yep. It's warning me of what I am about to do. And clean all. And then build all. Not build all. Build CA. Just keep pressing enter here unless you wish to change some of these values, and feel free to change them if you really wish to. I don't, because I don't really care. This is going to be for a couple of hours and that's it. But you might want to like have some sort of information here that is like your own, in case you need to be contacted or something like that. But in case of anyone submitting a abuse report to the hosting provider where your VPN is hosted, your hosting provider will contact you. And what happened in my case was that if you respond in a timely fashion, that's usually less than 24 hours if you respond, and if you handle the matter, like close the port or something like that, if you just handle the matter, your hosting provider will usually show a large dose of reason, and they will understand basically what has went on. But this really depends on their policy and the way that they choose to behave. But as I said, for me, it happened. Somebody abused my proxy, the cloud provider, the DigitalOcean. They've contacted me and I responded very fast. And they said, okay, like, you handled the matter, you responded, the matter is closed. So if you get abuse complaints, please make sure that you respond very fast. Otherwise, they will take action, and that is not something that you want occurring. And here we're going to need to type in server. But this is, as I said, this is not a guarantee on my end. This is not an instruction on my end how to handle abuse complaints in regard to the abuses of traffic or bandwidth on the cloud service. Every cloud provider has their own policies and they will behave accordingly. So let's go ahead and execute this command. Yep. Yes, I would like to cite it. Yep, there we go. So database updated. Okay, so now we need to do a little bit of copying. So let's go ahead and do cp etc open vpn slash easyarsa slash keys, and then it's going to be server.crt, and this is going to go to etc open vpn slash, okay, that's one down. The next step, we need ca cert and server key. So ca cert and server.key. There we go. So just three of those, and it should be fine. Now, a good practice is to basically confirm that this has indeed been done. Shell. Oh, there we go. So let me just go ahead and install one more tool. You don't need to install it if you don't want to, but I will. Unable to locate package LL. Doesn't have it. Doesn't matter. You can type in LL like I can do on Fedora LL, and this gives me a very fast long listing. Probably has it somewhere, but I'm too lazy to look for it. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, now that we have actually done this, we have confirmed the copying, and we have configured our VPN server, time to start. So service open VPN start and service open VPN status. This is the line that you are looking. So you're looking, this line needs to be identical. And when it says loaded, this is its place. So if it doesn't find it, it's not going to be able to start it. Okay, that part is done. Now, what we need to do is generate certificates and keys for our clients. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, simple enough. Build -key client 1. Oops. And this is gonna be just the same. Don't really care. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Sign it. Yes. That's it. So let me just see, what did I do? Client 1. Okay. So I have generated a certificate we are generating certificates and keys for clients. So that's what we need to do now. And let's go ahead and do the cp. Let's pull up our config file. So user share doc /open VPN examples sample config files /client-conf, and then we're gonna go ahead and copy this into etc open VPN easy arsa, and then we're gonna go ahead and type in keys. Gonna go ahead and paste it right there. This section can be repeated time and time for each client, and you can have multiple clients connecting as well, and you can have a general certificate for all the clients to connect, etc. But I am the only person that's going to be connecting to this, since I'm doing this only to demonstrate what the other person on the other end can see, and how you can basically just set it up for yourselves. That's all I'm going to do. Anyway, now I'm going to go ahead and type in vim /etc open VPN easy arsa keys client no client etc arsa keys. Let me just have a look at this for a sec. let's see how keys client, and I'm looking for the OVPN. CRT csr.key.conf cp. Oh, no, this is not gonna do. So the client conf actually needs to be renamed into the client.ovpn. So, well, I could just rename it in the file, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat the copy procedure. So client, we're just going to go ahead and name this the client.ovpn. So this is the proper copy command, not that what I actually just did. Okay, let's use ls now, and wait, I'm not in the right folder. It doesn't really matter. So just type in vim etc. It's gonna be there now. OpenVPN, easy arsa keys client dot ovpn. Whew. Okay, let's go ahead and begin scrolling down. So this is gonna be our device. TUN, it's going to have the IP address in the subnet, which was predefined in the firewall by default. Protocol is UDP, remote, and we need to give this is the port on which this is going to run, on which it is running. So let's go ahead and type it here, 46.101.97.26, is it? Yep. Keep in mind that your IP address will obviously be different from mine. So you get the IP address by just typing in ifconfig, and then it should be like one of these interfaces. You see, this one is the active one. This is not on the server, though. Let me just go ahead and show you on the server ifconfig, and there we go. So ET80, this is the IP address. So just go ahead and alter that. Then I'm going to go to the user, and this is going to lower the privileges. User group, user nobody, group, no group. This might have some problems on Fedora because it should be nobody as well for group, if I'm not mistaken. But doesn't matter. We'll get to that when we actually get to that. That's basically it. So just write and quit. Nothing else to be done there. Now the next thing that you need to do is, let me just go ahead and exit here, clear. If you don't have root login enabled, you're going to need to enable it now, at least on temporary basis. So here you can ssh d dot, no, it's config. So permit root login, just make sure that it's yes here for the time being. As soon as we're done with the copying, you can basically revert it back if you wish, which is a good idea. Anyway, we need to go ahead and perform some copying. I have a copy command here listed. We're gonna just gonna go ahead and go into this terminal. So scp root and then your server IP. Let me just go ahead and change this to 46.101.97.26. Okay, so let's see, OpenVPN, easy arsa, client 1, key, downloads, and just name it. Well, I'm not going to go ahead and put in downloads. I'm going to go ahead and give it the full path, so home, chronic, and I'm going to put it on desktop of all places. Client 1 dot key. Done. Okay, so next up, it's going to be client 1.crt. 1.crt. And this is going to be CRT as well. Okay, next it's the client, just client.openvpn, so .ovpn. and here it's going to be .ovpn. Okay, that's done, and we need the ca.cert. That's going to be the last one. So ca.crt, and the ca.crt. Okay, so that's done, fine, and dandy. Now that we're finished actually copying them, we'll be able to use them, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump in the follow-up tutorial where we're gonna go ahead and mess around with that now that we've actually pulled them onto our system. I mean, basically, you can pull these files from the net as we have pulled them for OpenVPN, except it was all kind of bundled into one single file. Okay, let's go ahead and continue. So I've switched to root here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and edit this file. So vim/etc/openvpn /easyarsa/key/client.ovpn. Problem: this does not exist. You have to actually create it and then move the files manually there. As you can see, nope, not gonna happen. So mkdir/etc openvpn and easy-arsa/ cannot create directory, file exists. Okay, I have created this one, but for you it's just going to go ahead and get created. And then we're going to go ahead and create keys, and then I'm going to go ahead and cp home chronic desktop ca.cert to dot is for present folder, and then I'm going into the easyarsa, and then I'm going into keys. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy it there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and copy the client1.crt, and I'm gonna go ahead and copy client1.key as well. As well, and I'm gonna need the client.ovpn as well. So there you go. That's all you really need to do. Go over and navigate to the folder, so /etc, even though I'm already there, but hey, open VPN, and go into easyarsa keys, so go into keys, and we have 4 things in here. Well, let's go ahead and edit client.ovpn. Client dev, that's fine. Protocol UDP, remote IP address is fine. Random, resolve, no bind. And we're going to need to alter this a little bit. So -I, this is going to be group nobody. It's a little bit different. So just go ahead and set that there. And now we're going to need to look for something else. So ca.crt. Okay, so ca.crt is there, it's cert, it's client, insert, so this is going to be 1, and this is going to be 1 as well. So let's just go ahead and write and quit. There is a way of putting the ca.cert and the client1.cert into the client.ovpn. That's what's usually done, but I don't really care. I just have the files statically here, so it's fine. And now I think I should be able to basically connect. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. Open VPN config. If I'm not, I'll come back in the follow-up tutorial where we'll see what am I actually missing. Config, so client.ovpn, Okay, so I did have a simple mistake on the server, the configuration file. So vim etsy openvpn /server.conf /nobody. Okay, so these two are supposed to be uncommented. So user nobody and group no group. So just uncomment these lines, and that's gonna be it. Save the file and exit. Afterwards, systemctl. You can also use service, whichever one you prefer. So systemctl restart open VPN, and then just go ahead and from your client machine, press enter and wait for it. There we go. So you're looking for this line. Initialization sequence completed. This is the line that you are looking for. Go ahead and open up your new web browser and type in what is my IP, and you will see some IP. You will see the IP of the server here. However, if let me just go ahead and prove this to you. If I disconnect from the VPN and if I do the search again, just give it a little bit of time. It takes a while for it to actually reconfigure. What is my IP? So you see, it now gives me the IP in Sarajevo where I am at the moment. So that is how you can protect yourself by creating your own VPN. Now we're gonna go ahead and see what the person controlling the server can actually see, and we're gonna be using Wireshark, the GUI interface, in combination with DShark, which is the command line interface for Wireshark, in order to set up the monitoring of this of the traffic on this particular server. So bid you farewell, and we shall see each other in the follow-up. Okay, so now that we have the VPN up and running and that we are actually connected to it, let us go ahead and see what the person controlling the VPN can actually see in regard to our traffic that is going through the VPN. Because remember, the traffic is encrypted between you and the VPN. Once it leaves the VPN, it no longer has that point-to-point encryption, meaning that whoever is controlling the VPN can see the data exiting the VPN in an unencrypted format. In order for us to achieve this, we will need DShark. So if you're following these lectures in order, you will have DShark already installed and configured not to use a root user. I'm going to go ahead and use the root user here because I don't really care. It's just for a couple of hours that this machine is going to run anyway. But this is not a good idea. The Wireshark has millions of lines of code, and it's never a good idea to run it as root. Okay, so DShark, yes, go ahead. I don't really care, sure. This is just a Wireshark setup that I'm making for this particular session, but you should really be looking at the Wireshark setup in the proxy tutorial list, where I've done a detailed explanation of how Wireshark should be run for remote capture. Okay, so now that the DShark is installed on our server, let's go over to our host machine, to our client machine, and you have this line of code which I have explained in great detail before and have elaborated on every single detail of it. Just gonna do this root. Even the old username remains there, sheep. So Oops, this is bad. Give me a sec. Bad things have happened. Why? Because this is I have some leftovers from my previous sessions, and I am getting a little bit messed up with them. Okay, let's just go ahead and close this. Clear the screen, and this is not even the proper IP address, so let me just go ahead and promptly change that. So 46101 .97.26. And let's go ahead and do it now. Okay, so it says running as root group root. This could be dangerous. Yes, I am well aware of it, but this is our traffic from the remote server. So let me just go ahead and open up a new window, Firefox, and I don't know, I can just basically refresh the default site a couple of times. It is completely irrelevant. So as you can see, I can see that I can see the requests coming in and out. I do believe that this is my IP address 4636.181.98. Actually, I'm pretty sure that that's it, and it's making a request towards the VPN server. And then the VPN server down below is making a request towards whatever it is that I wanted to, towards wherever I wanted to go, really. So you can see some transmission control protocol. This is not really important for us now because the data is covered by SSL. But that doesn't matter. What I want to show you are two things here. So you have my IP address, which is 4636.181.98. So you can see this, right? And then you can see that it's making a request towards 46.101.97.26. That is the IP address of the VPN. Okay? And then you can see immediately that the VPN is making a request towards 142, well, actually, let's go ahead and see what that is, because how else are you going to see? You have to basically go and type it in. So the request is towards 140.211.169.196. Okay, so it's going somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and accept the certificate, but you should never do this. Never. Well, actually, let me go ahead and see who is. Let's just go ahead and do a checkup on this one. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. 1, 6, 9, 16. This could be it. I have no idea. I'm guessing it's this one and this subnet. I guess I could run a manual check, but it doesn't matter. So who is this? Organization name, Network for Education and Research in Oregon. Okay, so advanced, add exception. I'm just going to go ahead and add an exception for this one session. And there you go. So I am on the Fedora website. So this is one of them. This is apps.fedoraproject.org. There are a lot of them. This is just one of them. So I can immediately know where whoever it is that's connected to my network went. So I know the source. I know who you are, from where you are coming from. I know your IP address, and I know the destination. I know where it is that you are going. Another very, very dangerous thing is that somebody has your current dynamic IP address, which is here. And I keep stating, and I've stated before, that this is not that important, but it is. It is important because during the session, he has your current IP address, meaning that if your router doesn't have remote management disabled, I don't know if mine has it actually. Where is it? So 46. Yep, so let's go ahead and type in 46.36.181.98. So mine probably does have the remote management disabled, but let's for a moment assume that it doesn't. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in 192.168.1.1. This would actually lead you to this page. I'm actually logged into my router, well, one of them anyway, one of my routers, and this would actually lead you to the home router page. Now, you would probably be prompted with a login, but most of the logins for the home routers have very simple passwords or have default passwords. more importantly than that, the remote login, the remote management feature can be bypassed, as demonstrated in one of the DEF CON lectures. So the person effectively has your current dynamic IP address and has a very good idea, knows exactly what websites are you visiting, where are you going, and they can just open the same sites. And if you're visiting something on different ports or using different protocols, they can also go there and have a look and see exactly what is going on. The good thing about this is that if you're visiting SSL sites, they will not be able to see the application data because the encryption keys have nothing to do with the VPN in terms of HTTPS. HTTPS is, again, between you and the website that you are visiting. So they still won't be able to see the data here, but they can serve you arbitrary content. They can they can serve you certificates, and they can change the DNS settings so your URL resolutions will go to completely wrong IP addresses, where a whole sea of possibility opens with JavaScript and cross-site scripting, etc. But cross-site scripting, exploitation, reverse shells, and such things, those things we will do in other chapters down the line. This chapter deals with anonymity online, and that's what I want to show you. I wanted to show you just how anonymous are you when you're using VPN, what can the person on the other side see when you are using their VPN, and how you can set up a VPN of your own. Anyway, gonna bid you farewell here, and with this, I'm gonna go ahead and conclude the VPN subchapter.